So good afternoon, everybody. I know it's been a long day, but I hope that you still have a little energy left for me. Amen. All right. My name is Dr. Brownlee, and I am speaking today about making war and peace because I'm a little corny, so I like stuff like that. So Instructor Immediacies and classroom Incivilities, and we're going to talk about what the differences are in those two things. She said I was in control. There it is. Okay, so why I'm here, and so I'm so excited too, if you can't tell. This is my 15th year teaching at Clark County School District. I started my first 2 years at Sierra Vista High School. I loved it there, but then I was a product of surplus. Anybody familiar with surplus? Yikes. So that means they ran out of money, and so they couldn't afford to keep me. So last one hired, first one fired. But I tried to stick around for as long as I could because they asked me to, but they just couldn't get the money together, so I transferred to Rancho High School. Love Rancho High School. I was there for 11 years. Go Rams. Back in the day, not anymore. No, I kid. I too was a product of the ARL program, the Alternative Route to Licensing. And I've seen the ups and downs of being in that program. A lot of people don't tend to respect us because they don't know what we do until they meet us and we do what we do, and then they learn their respect. Come through. One of the biggest downsides to ARL for me was, every profession has its own lingo. And CCSD has a bag full of acronyms. And so when they would say those things to me, I would smile and nod and write it down and go back to my room and say, what the heck is that? But I learned most of it. Whatever was important, I learned. But the upside is we come from corporate world. We know what business is like. And so we stand on business. We get in there and we get what needs to be done. And that's why I think they appreciate us so much, because we're not here to fight. We're not here to argue about every little thing. We're here to take care of what needs to be taken care of. Okay. So my first year at Rancho High School, a teacher came to me, a veteran teacher, as she call herself. I never call myself. I'm in the military. I'm not calling myself a veteran. Besides, that ages you, and I'm still young. In my mind, not my knees, but in my mind. So she told me there are 3 things you should never do your first quarter. Get that? The first quarter. Don't do any of these things. Don't smile. Don't tell jokes. Don't make exceptions for anything. All of that goes against who I am. I love to smile. I tell people, if you can make me laugh, you found a friend for life. And I always have a corny joke on deck at all times. Most of them are appropriate. But really, why would you take your own joy away from you? I always say, if I can't have a good time while I'm here, why am I here? So if I don't have any joy, how are my kids going to have any joy? If they don't have any joy, how are they going to want to learn from me? So I threw all of that out the window and went about my business again, because ARL teachers, we get it done. There is a connection between our immediacies, and I'll define immediacy in my next slide, and incivilities. The way that we respond to someone is often the way that we get it back. Not always, but oftentimes. Have you ever met somebody and as soon as you meet them, you're like, we're going to be friends? Yes. Oh, that's going to be my people right there. And then on the other hand, you go, not so much. Well, the kids do that to you too. And it starts with you. You can't say it starts with them. We can't come in here expecting them to respect you, because not all of them have been taught to respect adults. And not all of them have had a positive interaction with adults. And so you have to start it. You have to get things in motion. Okay, so, ooh, Lord, I didn't bring my glasses, but all right, I know what it says virtually. Immediacies are the perceptions that we give off, the warmth that we give off when we meet people. This is me all the time. I tell my kids that too. I'm a very ethnic woman, and this is me all the time. If this is on your nerves, talk to your counselor immediately. But this is what it's going to be all year long. But most kids are receptive to that. They want somebody that they feel like they can talk to, that they can interact with, that they can learn from. That's our real goal. We want to show them that we're somebody they can learn from. You don't have to be their best friend. Don't be their best friend. That's a surefire way to get yourself fired. Don't do it, don't do it, don't do it. You only get fired for 2 reasons at CCSD: money and the other one. The other one. But we have different ways of giving off immediacy. Some of them are verbal, but the things that we say to them, the way that we introduce ourselves, the way that we talk about our class. If you don't have joy for it, how are they supposed to have joy? So have some joy, have some pride in your work, right? But then we also have nonverbal immediacies. If I'm standing before you and I'm talking to you like this, does it sound like does it look like it's gonna be a good class? Are you going to enjoy yourself? No. Oh. So we have to make sure that we put life into our words as well as our actions. Okay. So here's my question to you. What's one big thing that you hear from kids that they say they can tell whether they're going to like their teacher or not? I know you've heard it. I'm sorry? Their smile. Watch out, because it's my moneymaker. You got that? All right. Anything else? Their tone. Have you ever sat in a class and the teacher talks like this all day and they never change it up and just go to page, what? Next thing you know, I'm sorry, what? When I was in college, because I was fresh out of high school, I thought I could still handle it. I thought I could handle an 8 a.m. class. World history at 8 a.m. And because I was an overachiever student, an eager beaver, if you will, I sat front row center. And every day, and my notes, they were atrocious because you just see that squiggle line. And he was such a nice man. He gave me a B. Bless his heart. Bless his heart. But the energy can definitely change the mood of the class and learning. The energy that you give to a lesson, they pick up on that. I had a great kid. He gave me energy every day. He'd come in, Miss, what are we doing today? I'm like, sit down, let me tell you, man. So it was always a great day because he came in there with that energy and it revived me. Even if I was kind of down at the moment, as soon as Aaron came in the room, Miss Aaron, what we doing today? I got you. So it was always a good time, but you have to bring that in. And if that's not your personality, it's okay. Don't try to fake it. Okay. So, but we do set the mood here. We have to make sure that we have a nice balance between comfort and order. Because like I know, if you give them an inch, ooh, they're gone. I saw something once, somebody said, you let one thing slide, next thing you know, they think it's electric. I was like, huh? That's funny. Ba-dum-bum. You got it? Okay. And it's so very true, especially with these kids. They look for any out to get you distracted. They look for any little crack in the crevice, and they're gone. And I must admit, my first year, I was with it, because I'm a squirrel. And so I was very much part of the problem my first semester, and then I got the hang of it. See what you're doing. So, but we are in control. It is our classroom. We dictate the direction of the room. So we have to find that balance. You don't want to try and be their best friend. That's not what we're here for. But you do want to be a place of comfort. You want to be a place where they do feel comfortable in your classroom. One of the best compliments I ever received was a student said, when I come into your classroom, it feels like home. I don't have to worry about what's happening outside of here. I don't have to worry about behaving a certain way or how people are going to look at me, because we set the rules for respect immediately. Immediately, I set the rules for respect for yourselves, for each other, and most importantly, for the queen bee. But we keep that respect level high at all times. So that the noise level may vary, but the respect level always has to stay here. And so they did. They really took that in. They really took that to heart, and they were good with each other. I let them do a day where I was like, I just felt tension in the room. And I was like, let's go around the room. Let's talk about something about yourself that you love. And so many people, sadly, I don't know. But of course, you got a few like me who are like, well, let me tell you, I love. But then they said, can I say something I really like about somebody else? Yeah, sure. The next thing I know, tissue boxes are flowing around the room. People had such beautiful things to say about one another because they felt comfortable with each other and they felt like this was a safe place. So, all right, let's move on before I get too ahead of myself. Okay, so, I don't know how to do that. So what to do? So what I found, especially I learned when we went in the house for the pandemic, we couldn't, you can turn it on, but don't hit start just yet. So I loved my classroom. People come in my classroom like, what do you teach? Because it was so eclectic. It was a collective group of chaos. But it was beautiful. I have a favorite artist. His name is Frank Morrison. He makes a calendar, and I don't like to throw the pages away, so I just hung them up on my wall. And then I'm also the yearbook advisor, and I'm also the criminal justice teacher, and I also taught English. And I was also the BSU advisor. So, I had to represent everything. And so how do these kids know who I am if they can't come sit in room 713 with me? And so I made a video. Morgan. That's the wrong one, but that's all right. How did it change? It did right in the last one. It's okay, play it anyway. Oh, no sound. Well, that's me as my brother and my sister. I taught criminal justice, yearbook, and BSU. My favorite color is yellow. I love adventure and all things Marvel, and of course, Ursula. So we had a villains night, and I dressed up like Ursula. It's like, I'm a sorority girl, so I like to be pretty, but I'm not afraid not to be. I'm a little silly, a little tough, but mostly I'm an angel. So the other one just says, welcome to room 713, and it just talks about the room and everything. Thank you so much. Appreciate you. Yes. All right, let me find where we are. And the other thing to do is to be receptive. So many times we don't know what's going on in these kids' lives at home. We don't know where certain behaviors come from. We can't just make an assumption. We can't just assume that they're a tyrant. We can't just assume that they want to be disruptive. Sometimes they just don't know how to express themselves, especially with the little ones. They don't have the words yet for what they need to say. And even with the high school students, I teach seniors in high school, they still just want to be loved. They still just want somebody to tell them they did a good job. This one kid, he was doing no work. And then all of a sudden, he turned around and he started doing things. I said, I just want to tell you how proud I am of you. You've been handling your business. I like it. The beam, he was so excited. I called a parent once and said, he's like, what did he do? I was like, oh, he's doing great. I just wanted to let you know that he's doing a really good job. He's like, I never get this phone call, which is funny because I never make phone calls. I know that's bad to say. I'm sorry, but I don't like to. I'll email all day, all night, but that's how I am with my personal life, too. I don't want to talk on the phone. Text me. Don't call me. But, okay. So sometimes in an effort to manage the class and to relate or to handle the class, we go the wrong way. So please don't be these people. Everybody ever seen Dangerous Minds? She was determined to show the kids that she was down. Don't do that. Nobody likes that. Nobody likes that. If you don't speak their language, and you know what I mean when I say their language, don't speak their language. Don't, oh, that's cap. Ma'am, that's cap. Stop it. If that's not your language, don't try and speak their language. Be your true, authentic self. even a cornball who's true to themselves is loved more than the person who's trying to pretend to be someone that they're not. That's a movie. It doesn't happen in real life. They will not like you. The other person, yell if you remember this one. Our dear teacher was having such a hard time with our kids, they wouldn't behave to save their lives. So she took a sick day, and in came Viola Swamp. And Viola Swamp stood on business. She was not here to play with the children. She got them in order. They were terrified. And they were so excited when their teacher came back. Spoiler, it was the teacher. Dressed up as Miss, okay. But don't be her either. Don't go so far to the left that you can't come back. There was a teacher I knew once, and he was such a nice man, such a very nice man, but his kids ran over him. I went to witness it for myself once, and they were running amok, and I just stood there and looked at them. These are my babies behaving this way? And it got this quiet. And I was like, it won't happen again, though, I'm sure. And I walk out. He runs out. How did you do that? I'm like, do what? How'd you get them all quiet? It's not going to last, brother. You better get back in there. I said, you have to remember, this is your classroom. You set the rules. You are in control. Don't let anybody ever run your house, sir. And then I think I gave him too much of a pep talk, because then he went the other way, and he was a tyrant. And you're like, oh, we hate his class. I said, but y'all turn him into that. You turn him into that. That's what he felt like he had to do in order to get you to behave. You set that tone. So now you got to deal with the consequences. I didn't like it, but it was true. It was true. Okay, so now you've done everything right, but it still goes wrong. What happened? Sometimes it's beyond your control. Sometimes kids will see or find out something about you and think they know everything about you. Oh, she's only 22. She doesn't know anything. Oh, my God. Miss, he's so old. He's 50. Excuse you, I'm 53. Watch your mouth. But they think that's old. They think you have nothing to share. You have nothing to teach them. So sometimes it's really just, and I see I'm losing my time, so I'm going to keep it moving. Sometimes it's really out of your control. They'll hear about your culture, where you're from, and think that they know something about you. They'll hear your gender. A kid told me, oh, I heard doctor, and I was like, oh, my God, because the last couple of doctors I had, they were so mean and so stuffy. But I like your vibe. I was like, well, eat it up, pumpkin. This is what it is. So what are the ranges of incivility? Things as small as annoyances. That kid who likes to make a silly joke, that's what she said, every time you say something. The one that wants to pretend like he's passing gas in class all the time. Pick your battles on that one. If it's too much, then deal with it, handle it. If it's not too much, just say, all right, we got it. You have flatulence. Let it go, bros. Not literally, but you know. And then they usually get back in check. It doesn't take much. Classroom terrorism, those who are determined to upset your lesson no matter what. Those who are determined to make sure that nothing is productive in class today. Those you have to address at some point, otherwise it does not change. But again, be delicate because you don't know. Do your investigation before you jump in as, police officer number one. Come in here and see what's going on with them first. Take them in the hallway. I've had a lot of hallway conversations. In my 15 years of teaching, I've only had to write up one student because I believe in handling business in-house. Can we go in the hall, fuss each other out? Are we done? Are we good? Are we back in love? Can we go back to class? All right. The one kid I kicked out, we're Facebook friends today. He says I'm the greatest. It's okay. Intimidation, physical threats, that you have to write up. Don't get involved. Don't put yourself in a place of danger. Even if you mean well, you don't want to get hurt. You don't want to accidentally hurt somebody. Call for backup immediately for those kind of things. And then when do you do it? Nip it in the bud. Set your rules. Set your boundaries early. Excuse me. Within the first 4 days of class so they know what it is. Yes. And then reinforce it often. When they start to get out of line, say, hey, 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 and this is something we talked about before, let's come back together. They usually will tighten up pretty quickly. And then how do I know this works? As a 2020 Heart of Education Award winner, I know a little something. Thank you very much. And that concludes. Much success to you in your career, your teaching career, or wherever your path takes you next. Do you have any questions for me? Yes. I'm sorry, she told me to wait. Oh, microphone check, 1, 2, 1, 2. I don't know if you get this, but I thought I was going to be in theater. And my mom got scared, so I went to school.
I guess I
Yes.
wanted to know, like, or can you give us an example of how you tell the children the respect rules at the beginning?
Oh, right at the beginning of the year, I introduce myself. I tell what my classroom is about, what my credentials are, so they know I'm qualified to teach them what they're learning. Because if they don't think you know, they won't listen. So then I say to them, my biggest rule is respect. Noise levels are going to vary. The respect level always has to stay at 10 at all times, for me, for you, and for each other. We don't tolerate bullying anybody. That's not my thing. I don't stand for it. We don't allow it in here. And normally you see a lot of heads nod, and then that's when they start to feel comfortable. And then I ask them, what kind of rules do you think we should have for class? And then we'll write those on the board. We not write them on one of those big sticky Post-its. I love those. I'm gonna post-it note junkie, I swear, all sizes. So we put that up and then leave it up on the board, leave it up on the wall so we can always refer back to it. And they usually follow along. Anyone else?
So I work for charter, and I feel like I've disconnected with my kids since they came back from Thanksgiving break, and like they've realized that they got 3 more weeks until winter break. How do you get, I teach 8th grade, so how do you get tweens to get back into being engaged, even if they're coming on from break and about to go on another one?
Honestly, though, I look at the times of the year where people start to get antsy, and that's where I put the funnest assignments. Because if you get that good assignment right there, and they're all involved in it, they'll do it. They'll still want to do it, so you have to find the funnest assignment. Seniors, I normally teach senior English, and this kid, he never did any work in class, ever. And so I found a novel that I thought would be good for young men. But the girls could still interact, but it catches the young, because it's from a male perspective, a teenage male perspective. And I like to start the day with current events, because I feel like you need to know what's going on in your world. You need to be able to tell me something that's affecting the world that you live in. So, and I know they don't watch news otherwise. By the end of at first they're, at the end of the year, Miss, can I go first? So we're doing current events, and he's sitting there with the book, and he's waiting, and then he gets impatient. Are we going to read today? I'm like, dude, take it easy. And then I found an interesting way of doing assignments. I did what's called a tiered assignment. So they get to choose what assignments from level C they wanted to do, but it just had to total this many points. And then once you finish getting all those points, you go to level B and level A. And some of them were drawing, some of them were writing, some of it was poetry, some of it was essay. So they got to feed to their strengths, and they didn't feel restricted, and they felt more involved. And so he turned in almost every assignment. Praise God. Okay, anything else? Did that help? You're welcome.
Oh, thank you. I wanted to go ahead and speak on what you're talking about as far as like students, you know, testing the waters, pushing the envelope with like new teachers and everything. And I was just thinking about a piece of work that was written that said that that there are some teachers who teach in urban schools who do not live in the particular areas where those schools are, so they don't understand like what is like common behavior. What is I joking? Not like threatening behavior. Like, let's say, for example, if a teacher comes in and everything, and the student's like, I know you ain't stepping here with them shoes on, like that kind of like trying to roast and everything. The teacher goes back, well, I guess it look good with that sweater you got on. Just trying to like clap back at them a little bit, where it's not disrespectful, but it's just a way of testing the water. So how would you feel?
They test the waters, and then that's sometimes how they joke.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, so how would you feel about teachers before going into a new area where they're not familiar with, just getting to know the lay of the land, like the culture in that area before they start teaching in that school, so they can see like what is hostile versus accepted behavior in that neighborhood?
Brother, that's a tough one, honestly, because we can watch every video that they ever create, and it's still not going to let you know exactly who those people are and how to relate to them. I'd say you learn that more in the classroom than beforehand. Just come in with an open mind and talk to them. I found an assignment once, and it was called the empty locker. And so in that locker, you turn into your teacher what it is about me you want me to know. What are some things about you I should understand? What is it that helps me to know exactly who you are? And then that's helpful. But there's no surefire way that I know of to do that, because it is really tough. But keeping an open mind is the biggest thing. I remember one year this kid came in, he had the sagging pants with the, what do you call those, the chinos? You know what I'm talking about. The Dickies, that's what I'm. The Dickies and the white T-shirt and the bandana, and he walk in, and I was like, oh, he bigger than me too. Oh, all right, we'll see. But I didn't automatically put him in a category. He's just my kid right now. I tell him, as soon as you come through the door, you're my kid. I love you automatically. When you leave, I still love you. 3 ways to make me not love you. You lie to me, you steal from me, and you disrespect me. Those are my hard things to come back from. We'll try, but those are hard. So if we can stay out of that range, we're good. So one day, because he sat in the back with his head down, it's like, talk to me, man. What do you know about this? He's like, me, miss? Yes, you, baby. Let's talk. And he just started talking. I was like, that was brilliant. I loved it. And then after class, he's like, nobody really calls on me. They always just kind of leave me alone. I was like, why do you think that is? He's like, I don't know. Maybe they scared of me. So you think I'm scared of you? He's like, no, miss, you're not scared of anything. You're right. And then we developed our friendship. But if I would have just put him in that box, I would have never known who he was. And he had the kindest, gentlest heart, and he was such a good baby. So just be open-minded when you meet them. Don't do what you don't want them to do to you. Don't take one look and think you know who they are just by that one look, that one glance. Have some conversations with them. Some of them, really, the teachers have never talked to them before, and so they may never interact just because nobody ever paid them any attention. Sometimes that's all they need. I get cute little notes on my desk all the time, too. Thank you for talking to me today. You're welcome. Yes, babe.
I think that during this year I learned that maybe everyone is going to laugh, but kids are people. And yeah, it sounds crazy. It sounds crazy what I'm saying, but sometimes we take for granted that because they are kids, they must respect adults. And I think that
And
we
they
have
should,
to
but we have to respect them
that
too.
we have to earn that respect as well. And also something that I was observing that sometimes maybe is against is that there are so many rules now to defend their rights, which are amazing, but in some cases that is like against them because they still,
I tell them the story
you know what
of the
I'm
boy
trying
that
to
cried
say,
wolf.
right?
I tell them the story of the boy that cried wolf. If you want me to take you seriously, take yourself seriously.
Yeah.
Use it. Don't use it as a crutch. Use it when you need to. I'm not saying don't ever go to it because you might need it, but don't use it just to shut somebody down. Use it when it's real. You be real with me, I'll be real with you.
yeah.
So,
Okay.
yeah, I hear you on that. I got the light, so I guess that means that's my time. I hope you've enjoyed the Brownlee Show. You wouldn't believe how terrified I was of this.
So we are going to start our Q&A in just a little bit, but we have some time because people have not made it over yet, so we have time for more questions.
Okay.
If anybody else has questions.
Seriously, you would not believe how terrified I was all last night trying to get ready for this and like picking out my clothes. Like, that's not professional, but that's not who I am. And I was like, I need color, because I was going to do all black. I need color. Yes, your
Hi,
question?
thank you so much for presenting. My only question for you is you're kind of explaining how you keep your level out of 10. So what is your teaching philosophy kind of building up on that?
On respect?
On just that idea of you mentioning like voice levels change, but respect stays at a 10.
Well, first of all, I like to try to demonstrate it. If nobody has ever been treated with respect, then they don't know how to reciprocate. So sometimes it's natural, but not for everybody. So I try to model it all the time. I refer to them as yes, sir, yes, miss, but you gotta be careful with that now too, because everybody's not. And then I have to catch myself too, because everybody is sweetheart and love and baby, and I'm like, does that offend you guys when I say that? And they're like, no, miss, that's the nicest thing somebody said to me all week. So all right, pumpkin. But in all seriousness, we have to model it. And just like, how would you want somebody to speak to you? How do you want some? Now, the way you just said that, how do you think that makes her feel? How do you think she took that? Do you think that she's going to walk out of here smiling? You think you hurt her feelings? Well, I didn't mean to hurt her feelings, miss. Well, don't tell me, tell her. And I have them address it for themselves. And it's never like, they never feel like they're being put on the spot because they know they broke one of our cardinal rules. And I've had kids come to me before and say, miss, I approached that wrong and I'm sorry. Can I go talk to her in the hallway? Yes, you can. They'll really, a lot of times, I can't speak for the littles because I don't know if their brains work like that. But in high school, they definitely know when they're out of pocket or not. And they usually will make amends for themselves if you establish that kind of community, that kind of environment. Oh, good. Oh, I'm sorry.
Hi.
Hi.
I have a two-part question. First part is how do you take control of like teacher burnout and your mental health, and then do you prioritize your mental health over your students' mental health?
I don't know if it's an over, but I always give the example of just like when you're on the plane and they say, put your oxygen mask on first before you go try to help somebody else. Because how can I help you if I'm not ready? If I'm not in a good mental state and you come to me and you say, miss, I feel like I want to kill myself. Like, babe, me too. Like, that doesn't work. That doesn't work. So if I'm the leader of this group, then I got to get myself right. So I do prioritize my mental health in that respect, because I can't be good to you if I'm not good to myself right now. And like I say, I'll come in and I'll say, hey, I'm having a hard day. I'm always very honest with them. I'm always very open. I don't feel like I need to hide anything. And I'm not saying that's everybody's thing. I'm not saying that's for everybody to do. I'm saying for me, I don't hide anything about me. I let them know what's going on in my life so that they can see I'm human too. And I say, listen, my friend's father just passed away last week. I'm having a hard time with it because I can't be there with her. So I'm asking, can we all just be super respectful this week? Can we be about business today? And they do. And they support me. I remember my first year teaching, I was always scared. I was always like, oh, I don't know if I'm giving you everything I'm supposed to be giving you. Miss, you're doing a great job. Thank you, Pumpkin. Even for today, I was telling my class yesterday about me coming here to speak before you, and I was like, I'm so nervous. And they're like, miss, you're a whole doctor. What are you nervous about? Yeah. Like, you're the teacher. They're the students. They're learning from you, miss. Yeah. Do your presentation for us, miss. Got it. Shoot the show. I was ready to go. But it's because I am vulnerable with them, and it allows them to be vulnerable with me, and we become our own community. I have kids who don't even need to take my class, but they take my class because they say, I like the vibe in here. I'm like, you can like the vibe, but it has a price. The price is your homework, my dude. So that's the way we do that. And I'm sorry, I think I missed your first part. Yes, I can hear you. Oh, no, we can't hear you.
I am one of those ones that has the teacher voice. I can't turn it off. No, you did. You did go over it and explain it to everybody. Okay. So I do think that we all, as just a group of teachers, just need to make sure that we are vulnerable with our students so that they know that we are also human too. I think that's what that's the takeaway. Okay.
Crazy as it sounds, I had a kid say, so you're here all the time. You're here when I leave, you're here when I come. I stopped doing that for my mental health. I would get there half hour before school starts, and then school got out at 2, I'd still be sitting there 3, 4, 5. And it was awful. It was awful, and I said, stop doing this to yourself. When 3 o'clock is your limit, and then get the heck out of here and go live. Because people are like, Miss, why are you still single? Because I'm here with you. So mama got to go find her life. So I did. I cut it off, and I started doing things that make me happy again. As a matter of fact, that's actually why I changed schools, because where I was, like I say, I'm happy to help wherever I can. I do too much sometimes. I had 8 class periods. I had no open preps. I taught 5 different subjects, and I was the advisor for 2 clubs. I was tired. So I told the principal, I was like, listen, I'm happy to still do some things, but I need some of this taken off my plate because I'm tired. And she was like, okay. And then the next year, there it all was again. And I went to the doctor for my yearly visit, and my blood pressure was 210/120. And I didn't know. And she came over, and she's like, are you feeling okay? Yeah, I'm fine. She's like, is your head spinning? No. You feel shaky? No. You don't feel like you're going to fall over? No, what's happening? She's like, I need to call an ambulance. I said, ooh, don't do that. So I felt like the functioning alcoholic. I was functioning with this high blood pressure and didn't even realize what was going on, but I'm putting myself in jeopardy because I'm trying to do too much. And so it was at that point that I decided, enough, I have to do something to take care of me. And so now my class is between 36 and 42 kids in 8 class periods. That's a lot. That's a lot. So now where I am, I have 6 class periods, but my maximum class is 19. Amen. Woo! Woo! And with the yearbook, it's 3 campuses, so I only have to do a third of the book. I can do this by myself. What? So life is beautiful for me right now. I'm relaxing. I made way to get back in the gym, get my health back together. 27 pounds down. Thank you very much. And counting. So you have to take care of yourself. You have to look out for your best interest. And I almost didn't leave Rancho because the kids, my second-year kids, they're about to go into their final year of the criminal justice program. And they're like, who's going to teach us, miss? No, we're not going to learn. How are we going to take the test? And I'm crying every day. I don't know. I'm sorry. I almost turned down this job, and my friend said, okay, so you stay, and the kids get everything they need from you, and then they graduate and they go on, right? It's like, right. You'll still be there, right? Right. Will that job opportunity still be there? No. Oh, then I think you know what to do. I do. So I had to put myself first with that. But the first 2 weeks of school, I cried every day because they were emailing me and texting me. It's horrible here. The teacher, she doesn't know what she's doing. She doesn't like us. She won't let us sing happy birthday, miss. Okay. I've entertained you people long enough. I'm gone.